before I start, I must also comment on what Isagani Yambot said just now when he listed the ethical guidelines for journalists. He said, be truthful, serve public interest. I told him just now, I said there's one thing he didn't mention, the need to be very sensitive. This came up during the time when there was under coverage of the rape cases in Bosnia during the Bosnian War. And so many young journalists, they say, okay, we must go there and cover, report on these women who have been raped. So how do you identify them? So he goes to an area where the women were collected for him and said, is there any among you who have been raped? But that's not the end of the line. Is there among you who have been raped and speak English? You see? So, I mean, for this to be covered, you need to be raped, and you must be able to speak English. And on the question of the difference in the press system between Indonesia and Malaysia, I give you an example. You see, Indonesia and Malaysia, there have been a lot of problems, you know, and even these problems, they affect the bilateral relations between the two countries. And I see this as the difference in the media system. We have a media system in Indonesia which is completely free, or not completely free, as you said, maybe free, much freer than ours, and we have the Malaysian press. And it is because of this. So the Indonesian media simply report on what they can about how the Malaysian employers treat their Indonesian comrades. There was one example I'm about to give. This is just a hypothetical one. This is when after President Susilo Bambang met our Prime Minister, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib. It seems after that officials went to meet Malaysian officials went to meet the Indonesian officials, and they asked whether it is possible to ask the Indonesian journalists to moderate a little bit, to be, you know, to sort of not to be so harsh in their criticism of Malaysia. So it seems these officials went to the president and told him this, and it seems Susilo Bambang told these officials, tell them that while they are victims of the Indonesian press freedom, I am also one of the victims. You see? So it's tough, you see. Right. Now Isagani Yambut also mentioned media have taken on more roles and more duties than previously. So that's why we have the media role in protecting migrants. So one of them. I mean, among the many other things that they do to protect the environment, protect forests, protect children, protect women, protect everything that needs protection. So of course, and to protect even press freedom, which the Indonesian press must do, and also the press in the Philippines. And you see, and to protect the migrants, why do migrants? You see, it is a big problem. Migrants. We have about 4 million of them. About 2 million, close to 2 million, they are documented ones. That means they enter with documents. They get their work passes and they can work. There are those, the undocumented ones. These are about another 2 million. So altogether about 4 million. And they are subjected to all kinds of treatment by their employers. So, and if it is very easy to see why they need to be protected. Just observe where they work, how they work, where they live, and so on, and it is you can immediately decide that you have to champion their cause somehow. But while the Malaysian media are a little bit more careful when they report on political matters or matters that involve relations with other countries, they are quite free to report on the migrant people on the situation among the what's happening to the migrants, and such expose, such exposition of their plight were reported that that it caused problem. You know, like for instance, in the case of our neighbor Indonesia, they see this and they report on that as well. You know, so we provide them with a lot of opportunities. So, but we feel that we have to report on this, on the injustices, on the treatment, bad treatment that has been meted out to the people. You know, they live in all kinds of conditions. So we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have three types. One are the documented workers, undocumented workers, and we have the asylum seekers. Asylum seekers are those who wants to become refugees, running away from political persecution in their own country. So they have, and usually they are given this status by the UNHCR, the United Nations body in charge of refugees, and this lead to what the refugee swap between the proposed refugee swap between Australia and Malaysia. You know, and you must have heard about that. That what do you call this? Australia gives some unprocessed refugee, unprocessed asylum seekers, and we give them the processed asylum seekers, that kind of thing. Of course, there is money involved in this, and quite a number of people who will benefit from this. You see, people benefit from this because migrant workers, employment, their employment, whether as documented workers, undocumented workers, this involves a lot of money. Billions of ringgit are involved. And so, because of this, I think there are a lot of hanky-panky, a lot of officials too are involved, and because of that, many people close their eyes. It's surprising that why Malaysians are not blind, you know, for closing the eyes too much. And you see that a lot of accidents. Even just a week ago, there was an accident, high-rise building, worker fell down, or 3 workers fell down, none were killed. But there are a lot of cases where workers, due to collapse of the parapets on which they work, I think they were killed. And so they don't care. Well, they give protection to their own workers. Migrant workers are given less protection, kind of thing. And then there are those who work in the palm oil estates. Palm oil estates, because this is to harvest the palm oil. And what you call, there are a lot of rats in, real rats, I mean. A lot of rats in these palm oil estates. And because there are rats, there are a lot of cobras, a lot of snakes. Some of these employees, estate managers employ a lot of snakes to catch these rats. And Indonesian workers work there, not just Indonesian workers, Bangladeshis, Nepalis, and they work there and they get bitten by this cobra. So this kind of a situation. And then there were low salaries. Some of them, their passports are held back, so they can't change employer, and so on. See, and they complain. Some of them are not being paid at all. But on the flip side, you see, not all of the workers, migrant workers that come to Malaysia are angels. Some of them came just enjoy the good life, to benefit from you know, the lack enforcement, and also crimes, easy tricking. You know, you see the negative side of this all. They create their own village, their own ghettos, their own slums. So these are something very this one. And some of them get a status where they can send their children to school, depriving others. So these are some of the questions that that are being discussed about the pros and cons of whether we should employ them or not. But one thing is that Malaysian employers take advantage of this because you get cheap workers, so they pay. So they don't attract the local workers to do the things which the migrants are doing. So this is one bad side of the whole thing. So, but you can sort of avoid employing more of the migrants. Of course, there are more of them, you know, but we could perhaps import less. Indonesia, of course, is growing economically. So is the Philippines. So perhaps one day they don't need to come to Malaysia anymore. But I think maybe we will transfer the problem. Maybe Malaysians will now go to Indonesia and go to Malaysia to work as maids and as workers in the palm oil estate. But Malaysia is trying to solve this. You see, in Indonesia, maybe okay, some of the maids, you know, they also cheat their employers. They're employed for 3 months, then they go off. You know, after 3 months, they can go to a new employer. And then, of course, sometimes some of them come back when they still have the key to the house. They rob the house. And there are also cases when this, what do you call this, they are involved in crime. They change their name. In Indonesia, you can go back as Sriwati, and come back as Triwati or something like that. So Sriwati, Triwati, the new passport is easily available. And they come back and there's nothing to prevent them from coming in. But I think recently, and the process is still going on, is a new registration. The government gives amnesty to all the workers. All the illegal workers are now invited to register themselves, and they won't be arrested. So they are invited and they are registered, and they are registered biometric registration. They are fingerprinted, their face photographed, so that when they come back, when they go as Sriwati, they come back as Triwati. The pictures and the handprints are the same. You know, so this is to slightly regulate the number of immigrant workers in the country. And even those who are documented workers are also subjected to same fingerprinting and photographing and so on. So the media report on all this, give a lot of publicity to this, so that we give them a lot of attention so that they are treated much better than they actually are. Thank you very much.